Hi, Bill Hughes here, and we're at the Mixon Museum in South Houston, Texas, where we're going to take a look at Bart and Bret's exciting collectibles from all the films that they've worked on over the years. Terminator 1, 2, RoboCop, everything you can think of. I have just begun to look. There is just so much stuff here. There's a whole room of rifles over there. Give us your word on the Mixon Museum.
This is an amazing collection. It really is. I love seeing all of the film memorabilia, the design work, the old cars, the Korean War stuff. The old West guns are fun too. Hey,
I'm just passing
caught a Mixon.
Caught a Mixon in transit.
That's right.
So your robot, no, your spaceship wrangler, Mark Dowman.
That's correct. I have wrangled spaceships for Bill. Bill Hughes.
And Matt Mercury.
And Matt.
We were doing split screens, and some of them were articulate mats, so we had to do those each frame by frame, because one actor played two characters, so he would walk and he would interact with himself. You would run whatever, like instead of, usually you would just, like, say if you run a split line down here, because it's 100%, so sometimes you might see the line.
Okay.
So you would do one mat that would go here, and then you do another mat, like say over here, and then you would run this one at a half exposure, and then you would double expose it again with the mat over here at a half exposure. Then the two halves would equal a whole. But on Mr. Murder, someone figured, like, well, if two splits are good, 4 will be even better. So it was either 3 or 4. So we would have these scenes that are 10 seconds long, which are 240 frames, but we would have to do, we were doing 3 splits. So we would do 240,
oh, no.
480.
Oh, no. You're describing a nightmare.
Like 720 drawings just for this one 10-second shot. But the splits are virtually undetectable because they just have a third exposure. So even if you do see them, they're so faint that
so
idea.
Bart is doing the nightmares on screen. You're doing the nightmares behind
screen. And it was a nightmare on my back, because you're standing up over this.
Oh yeah, so you're doing it the old school.
Yeah, I ran
but you're not on camera, so yeah, we won't be able to use this. But so a lot of the people that are going to look at this stuff are indie filmmakers and stuff. People who are doing films nowadays that are different than y'all went with the traditional Hollywood. How's it all? Has the new digital media, has that? I know that's changed it a lot, but from someone who's in the traditional business, has it changed your business?
Well, it killed my business. Well, I mean, because everything that I did, went digital. And unfortunately, I didn't really make that transition. But I mean, I've done some digital rotoscoping, and it's still frame by frame, but at least you can do a shape. Here, like that.
I don't know how real it is.
Now they just send it to China or India.
Well, see, I guess that's my question is, all this stuff. I mean, to do something big and creative like this back in the day was very expensive, and now. People can do a lot of this stuff in camera and with a lot less money. Big computers now are able to do a lot of this stuff for you. I mean, where are the B movies now? I mean, are they even still happening?
I used to do a bunch of stuff for Fred Olin Ray,
yeah.
And then he started shooting stuff digital, and he got After Effects, and he figured out, he goes, oh, I can do. And if you look at some of his movies, I'm trying to think of which one. There have been a couple where he's kind of gone in and he's trying to do the type of titles that I used to do for him, or some of the roto effects that I used to do. He's figured out how to do it just with After Effects. Right. It all looked the same. Every movie is like, oh, there's the particle animation.
Well, it's like the lens flare in Photoshop. Use it once, get it out of your system, never touch it again, because everybody uses it, and why?
But at least when
I use it all the time.
I know.
You know why I use it all the time?
Why is that?
It covers up the rotoscoping scenes.
There you go. But it's your inner J.J. Abrams.
That's right.
That's right.
Well, see, I guess what my question is all this stuff is nowadays they're doing all these big, huge tentpole movies where they've got 70,000 animators working on them, and you know.
Well, and they have effects. They have like $100 million effects budgets.
Yeah.
Which never.
But it's almost like they're just regurgitating these big 75-year-old brands like Marvel and Star Trek. You know, now they're talking. They want to redo Star Trek so it gets $1 billion in release. You know, and you look at all this stuff like what you were saying, Fred Olin Ray, and all these different B-movie guys were doing. I mean, is there a money trail to these guys, or are they getting so squeezed out that they, like you say, have to do all their effects themselves? I mean, do they ever have budgets anymore?
Well, I mean, I'm not really on that end. I just know, like in the 80s, anybody who made any movie could find a distributor in the 80s because the video stores were hungry for product.
Right.
Yeah, content.
And now it's free,
they just needed
essentially.
Stuff.
You know?
Well, but now all the studios are on board releasing stuff on DVD and Blu-ray.
Or streaming.
And also, I think now people are a little more choosy because when you go to the video store and you've got whatever, you know, Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers sitting next to, you know, the Avengers.
That's the movie I want to see.
Well,
you forget. You look at all these posters and you realize these two brothers had something to do with everything that's on display in here. There are a few things that they were given, but mostly this is all, one way or another, one of these brothers had something to do with it. It's amazing.
This is a career in a bottle. So what's the dead alien from?
That's Cocoon, or probably Cocoon 2, I think.
Oh, okay.
And you can see him putting Vern Troyer into the suit in that center picture there, and how tiny is that man?
Oh, now this is the fella from...
He played Mini-Me.
Mini-Me, that's right.
Mini-Me and Men in Black.
I forget.
Okay, so this is
That's from the Roger Corman Fantastic Four. The part had nothing to do with the Wilderness, but behind it is the Michael Chiklis, the other Fantastic Four from '91 or whenever that was, and Bart applied Chiklis' makeup.
And this is the movie that no one ever saw.
That's the one that you can only buy at conventions as a bootleg DVD.
You're welcome to have a copy of it if you'd like. It hurts.
Who is this?
That's kind of a Cthulhu type creature from...
Necronomicon.
That's it, yes. And this little house is something I made.
You made this?
Yes, I made that little house. This was used by Channel 26, had something called Terror Theater, and this was used in their introduction. And John Rouse, one of the guys that's here, wore makeup in that. They had, back when they used to show monster movies on Saturday nights. Then this you get to the Pennywise, of course. Bart both designed and applied this makeup to Tim Curry.
And I'm terrible. I have never actually seen the movie. I have a copy of it and I haven't hit the button.
I've seen it.
They had the costume recreated. I think some of the detail on there was actually hand-painted.
He stopped.
He stopped. That's good.
It's going now.
There's different stages of the makeup. And,
okay, you got to tell me again. What is this?
Is one of the schlock hand gloves that John Landis wore in his first movie, which was one of Rick Baker's first projects. Rick Baker gave that to Bart.
There's something about that movie that when I was a kid, I squealed like a pig stuck on a rotisserie.